Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 449 of DrunkNerds podcast. I'm host, as always, I'm Tyler. And joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Tell you what, man, Destiny 2, that's what's up for me at this point in time. This past week, the new season dropped, season 15, also known as the season of the Lost. So that predominantly is dealing with storyline things for those that are very into Destiny 2 as a whole. The whole thing about Savathun, the character that's been on and off and stuff within like the Destiny lore and stuff. Well, she makes a predominant appearance inside of this season and is leading up to her eventual expansion, like next chapter of Destiny 2 coming out like around next year and
February.
stuff. We'll delve a little bit more into it like once we get to that topic. But I am doing fine as a whole and stuff. Got my work stuff done for the week. I pretty much are trying to take some form of a break going forward, in terms of like try to keep from like major work stuff as soon as possible.
Mm,
But I'm going to be having a vacation fairly soon, so it's going to
nice.
be an interesting time. I basically have like some part of like the next, not like this week, like coming up and stuff like that, but like Friday, Saturday of next week and stuff like that onwards. So I basically have like a week off that I need to go through an experiment, and so I'm going to use a lot of that time to try to get some bit of small projects and stuff done that I wanted to do.
Nice.
But other than that, though, it's like I have purchased a couple of different things. One being the PS5 version of Ghost of Tsushima,
Oh,
the
cool.
director's cut.
Nice.
I decided to jump into it because predominantly I looked at my game profile for when I was playing Ghost of Tsushima originally, and yeah, you know what? I did go through Act 1 and stuff, but I was still fairly early inside of that game, all things considered. So I decided to just like hunker down and stuff like that and buy the PS5 Director's Edition. So it was like $30 roughly, but at the same time, I played a little bit of it. It looks great. It obviously plays fluidly, and yeah, so far so good. But yeah, been doing pretty good. How have you been doing, Tyler?
Doing okay. Doing all right. Had a minor mental breakdown before the podcast. I found out what a YouTube or a VTuber is on Twitch, and Gable showed me some things that I didn't know existed on the internet. And he witnessed me having a mental episode, we'll call it, of realizing we've gone too far in the world. Um, but yeah, other than that, I'm doing all right. I was tempted to buy the Ghost of Tsushima thing. I was like, when I had my whole rant a while back about the whole thing, I was like, my problem wasn't the $30 thing; it was the $10 thing about just upgrading to the basic version. But
Right.
I've been wanting to check it out. I heard it. Like, the only thing that sucks though is I heard like the DLC is only like an extra like 4 hours. So
It all
um,
depends upon what you do with the content. If
yeah,
you
but
want
if
to go
if
for the
you want to do like just
100%
this,
thing, yeah.
yeah, if you 100%, I heard it's like 8 to 10. But if you want to find everything on the island, but like the main part is like 3 to 4 hours. So I'm probably gonna wait and if there's a sale or something, I'll jump on it.
Yeah,
But
understandable.
I got other stuff I've been playing through though. But yeah, nothing too crazy going on with me. I have a next weekend we got a 3 day. I got a 3 day weekend next weekend. We got with
Hmm.
Labor Day, which is awesome. Then you mentioned you got a week coming up, or a week off coming up here soon. I have a
Yep.
week off coming up at the end of next month, so I
Nice.
have been looking forward to that. And then Gables after that, it's Extra Life season.
Yes, it
We're
is.
just a couple months away. About November 5th, I believe, is the date for that. So we are itching ever so closely to that. It's very annoying right now. I'm in a talking ship football group chat, and they are going off right now. So every time there's a message, I get a pop up in the corner. I get a pop up on my phone, and I get a pop up on my computer, and it's driving me goddamn nuts. But they just started when we hit record. Nothing for hours, and then there's fucking another one. God, oh my god, there's three at one. Oh my god, I gotta figure out how to shut. It's just not stopping. Okay, give me a second here. Go to notifications. Turn off. There we go. All right, bam, done.
It is an onslaught of info and inform
There
and like
was
all sorts of football
I had
information.
10 fucking notifications pop up in about 30 seconds, and you get a little ding and everything. Oh my god, I could not focus. It's awful now, guys. But God, that was terrible. Um, Other than that, doing okay. Another busy ass week, so just trying to get in my time there. I've been, um, I saw a thing, Gables, though, that there is an
Yeah.
apple cider drink at Starbucks for the season,
Okay.
and I really want to go try it.
Oh.
I don't know if you
Hmm.
tried it. I was gonna ask if you tried it because I know
No,
you're more
I
you.
haven't.
I don't go to Starbucks much anymore. Uh, I haven't gone in actually probably a month now. But
Hmm.
um, that's a lot for me. It's a long time. I used to go like 2-3 times a week. Um, but I'm thinking about tomorrow morning going up and get me one of these fucking things because it just sounds fantastic. I was hoping you would. I was hoping you had a reference point for me. You've let me down, Gables. You've let me down.
Well, I didn't know this thing was existed up until today, so hey.
Well, you got to tomorrow morning. Get up. Let me get it. Let me know if it's good, and I'll go get it myself. If you say it's good, you're my go-to on these things. But no, other than that, it's
Okay.
just been a week. But it's been a pretty good week for gaming as well, Gables.
Yes.
So we had multiple. I just got it's. I can't even. I'm trying to look at my phones to get the show notes, and it's just pop up galore on here too. God damn it! Leave me alone. Sorry, it's. I'm having yet another mental breakdown on the show, and now people can see it. Everybody can see it besides Gables. All right, so now I'm getting pop-ups on fucking the websites I'm going on here. All right, so I'm so flustered right now. I'm sorry, guys. But so we had opening night live on Wednesday, which is pretty cool. We had the Xbox Gamescom thing. You know what? It's probably that was the day
Yes.
before, so probably makes more sense. Let's go jump into that first because we can probably get to that fairly quickly. Um, so give me a second here to get through the pop-ups and everything like that. All right, so we had the big event. They did go into it, say they're not going to talk about anything new. There's gonna be no new announcements. They're going to talk about stuff that's been mentioned before. Um, so a lot of things that were shown off there is like they did some once overs on like Forza Horizon. They unveiled some new cars. We got to officially see the cover. It's got a 2021 Bronco on the cover that's coming November
Hmm.
9th. And possibly one of the sexiest controllers I've ever seen. I wish I pre-ordered. Gables was like, "Did you see that new Forza Horizon controller?" I'm like, "Gables, I pre-ordered that bitch. That thing is a sexy AF." Um, and then we spent like a good 30 minutes just going online and looking at the Xbox controllers. After that, we went down a whole rabbit hole. But we had that. Showed off some more gameplay for that. A lot of driving around. I'm really I don't know where your levels are for the Forza Horizon 5. It's coming November 9th, but I mean I'm really pumped to check this out. What about you, Gables?
Yeah, you know what? I am fairly excited to see how well that does. I mean, I am a fan of the Forza Horizon series, in general. So it's like I'm still playing little bits off and on of Horizon 3. I have Horizon 4 and stuff, but it's the type of open world sort of game I do enjoy because you're just doing a bunch of races, doing a bunch of different things, collecting a whole bunch of cars, and it is a fantastic time.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. It's actually pretty relaxing too, especially if you turn on a podcast or something, you're just going through and you're just doing shit. It's very cathartic sort
Yes.
of way.
Yeah, definitely. I had a lot of fun with 4 when it came out, 2018, I want to say.
Yeah.
Definitely, like these are the kind of games like I don't like full price. I definitely wouldn't be paying for, but it's like I'm not gonna have that much fun with it. You typically with these kind of racing games, but coming to Game Pass is just a no brainer to check out, obviously. But we also had Age of Empires 4, and this was kind of like the theme of this whole event where I was telling Gills for the show because he didn't watch it. I skimmed through a lot of it once I realized what the show was. Is basically was like a Nintendo Treehouse kind of event where it's like we're doing deep dives on a bunch of stuff you already know about, and if you're just not interested in this stuff, you're gonna be extremely bored. Um, and I went in with low expectations, but even still, I was just like I was expecting a little bit more. But it was just a lot of stuff. It felt like a very old school like Ubisoft press conference. A lot of ways where like, but without the big announcements, where like those old ones, they'd be like 2+ hours, and you're like, all right, here's us monologuing about this next game. Here's a trailer or a tease or a full breakdown or whatever of this new game, and then we're gonna sit down and talk about it with the developer for 15 minutes. And that's kind of what
Hmm.
this was without the minus the big announcements. And that I always hated that, and I think a lot of people hate that. And you've seen, how Ubisoft has definitely changed that over the last 3 or 4 years, where it's more streamlined event. And this was just not that. Like I said, it felt more like a treehouse type of thing. Or I think they have like the Xbox ID events they do like every 6 weeks or so, where it's just kind
Yeah.
of like, but it's not like actually like a event where like they're going to places. It's more just them talking on like a Zoom call or something like that. And like if you really want to know more about it, there's more information here. But this felt like a bigger one of those. They had like a 20-minute section where they talk about Age of Empires 4. Um,
Okay.
talk a lot about weapons. The big thing coming out was a trebuchet, which was the big thing. Like it's one of the minute fit was like it was a weapon from Age of Empire. I don't know. It was very boring. Gables. That's all I can say. That I was just like, okay, this is when I started just fast forwarding through a lot of shit. One of the big things that was like announced at this thing that like kind of got glossed over because they didn't really talk about it. Like so they cut to like this big scissor reel, like because the whole thing was about
Right.
pimping out Game Pass. And obviously that's their big thing. But they went to like the scissor reel thing of like talk about all the cool things about Game Pass, and they announced that cloud gaming, which has been something that, like they brought to like phones and stuff like that. I've talked about recently. Like it's in beta on phones. I was playing through a couple games on my phone. I was playing cloud games on my PC, stuff like that, and it's working. It works super duper well. They also announced that coming this winter that you'll be able to stream or through cloud gaming you can play Xbox Series X and S games on an Xbox One console.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy. But it was like I said, like they didn't talk about it. Like it literally cut to a reel, like a trailer, and then came back and moved on. I'm like, what? That was probably your biggest announcement. And it kind of like if
Absolutely.
you didn't read the text at the very end, it was you missed it. Um, they announced more about Microsoft Flight Simulator. They kind of like there's gonna be some more updates coming next week. I think Germany, Austria, and Switzerland were announced as those new events. Some new planes, and they announced the Top Gun partnership they're doing, but I think because the movie keeps getting delayed, they're waiting until the movie comes out to do the
Right.
event, which makes sense. They announced that there is a Borderlands ship coming to Sea of Thieves. I believe that is out
Okay.
now, and there's going to be an event on. There's an event that goes on until September 7th. But you can get that ship at any point in time. I think there's a couple of missions you can do. But I don't think it's like anything huge. But it's a very weird ship. It's basically like it's the Borderlands colors with the Borderlands logo on it, and that's the ship.
Oh.
So I don't. I mean,
Ah.
I think if you're in the ecosystem, cool, but it didn't do anything for me. Um, they announced that State of Decay 2 is getting a new update called Homecoming, and this is adding the map of the original game to it. That comes on September 1st. This is kind of came out of nowhere because last year they announced State of Decay 3, so it's like a year after you announced the sequel, you announced an update for the the current one. It was just very weird to me, but so there's gonna be new missions added to it, but basically you can go back and play on the old map on State of Decay 2. We had some more like the Wasteland 3. There's a new expansion for that. I'm just scrolling through. They started off with like Dying Light 2 was their big kickoff thing,
Yeah.
and it's just a deep dive and to talk about it more. Didn't announce anything, just more gameplay on it. Crusaders Kings 3 is coming to Xbox Series S and X later this year. They did another cool thing. They did the Humble Games, which people like know Humble Bundle and stuff like that. They announced like a partnership with them where like they did a scissor reel thing with them with a bunch of cool indie games like Dodgeball Academia is one of those
Yep.
games. Um, that they have a bunch of games coming from Humble that they're publishing. They're coming to Game Pass later this year or in the next
Mm.
year or so. So a good chunk of games came out of that. Um, but I mean, they're indie games, so you take a look at them if you like them. They had like Stray Blade was announced. That was actually an announcement that's coming to Xbox Series S and X next year. I believe it's also coming to Game Pass. It looked like a uh, above par phone game. Is the
Hmm.
way I put it. The Gunk got a trailer that's coming in December. What was weird though, they did like a 30-second trailer of just like the guy going around cleaning up the gunk. There was no like explaining what the fuck the game is, what you're doing. The release date they announced on Twitter, like shortly afterwards. We still have really no fucking clue. Like, this is the SteamWorld people, like SteamWorld Dig 2, which people love.
Yeah.
I love SteamWorld Heist, but we still have no idea what the fuck this game is. So, it's coming in
Yeah, and
December.
they
Like, we
yeah,
see,
exactly. I mean, this game was supposed to be coming out in September and stuff, and they delayed it until December.
yeah. So, I don't, yeah, that was the event, basically. There was, not, like I said, not a lot. It was a very, I mean, like I said, they kept, it's one of those things. I love it when you say, hey, here's what not going to be there, here's what to expect, and when they hit it, and 90% of the time, even when it's not that great, you go away, okay, yeah, you said it wasn't going to be that great, and it's whatever. I'm not bummed about it. And this one was like, you said it wasn't going to be that great, and I'm like, even that, this was not good. Like, it was, and it wasn't like anybody was bad in this whole event. Like nobody did a bad job. It was just like, this is just, like I said, if you're not interested in any of this shit, you're just not going to care. And that's kind of what that was. I don't know, definitely a skip. Unless there's like a game you're interested in hearing about, there's no reason to check this out. But getting into the meat and potatoes of everything, the very next day, they Jeff Keighley did his opening night live, something he's been doing for a few years now. I think this is year 3 actually. Um, so it started off with a CG trailer of the announcement of Saints Row. Saints Row. This is an official reboot. It's going to take place. They actually did like a preview event, I guess, last week for some journalists and stuff like that. But that is coming. It's coming on February 25th um, to everything, and this is like has none of the characters from the original game. It's taking place in like basically like a Southwest America, so like like I think of like very deserty, like Arizona kind of look and feel to it. Where they did jump back later on into like a little bit of like alpha gameplay, but I mean like it's glimpses and seconds here and there. But it sounds like it's a very much in between of like because there's definitely like a big split with Saints Row, whereas people like like me and like if you've been a long time listener, like I think the last one came out in 2013. I want to say
Yeah, around that
Saints Row
time.
4, and I mean it
Hmm.
was after the podcast had started. I remember us talking about it on the show, and I remember all of us came away from it like it's really good. It's Crackdown Saints Row, but like we like a lot of people like me like I played the Air Saints Row games 3. I fucking adored. I loved. I remember like Jake was the same way. I can't remember Gables if how you
Yes,
were for
that
it.
was the same way as well
Okay.
because I finished that game on the PS3 and stuff, and I loved that game
Yeah.
because Saints Row the Third, in my honest opinion, is the pinnacle of that series
Mm-hmm.
where it had a lot of good highs in that regards.
Yeah.
Hell, with the wrestling montages, the homages to like with Hulk Hogan and like this and
Oh,
that,
Hangman.
it
Yeah.
was like it was so much fun to go through that. The whole mission where you have to escort, you drive around with a tiger
Yeah.
inside the passenger side, so you don't have to drive in like a certain way and the damn thing attacking you. It's just that structure, that style of wackiness and stuff, and the very much the craziness in terms of like just fucking messing with people, like giving them fucking drop kicks and stuff and bulldogging
Yeah.
them out of nowhere and stuff. It's that type of stuff that made that Saints Row series what it was, and that was good, stupid fun.
Yeah.
You know?
And like Saints Row 4 went kind of like crazier with it, where it's like, Johnny Gat became president. It was basically like we're making fun of like mass like Bioware games as well, and it's like we're like virtual reality and like we're like all these weird ass levels. And it was like really cool, but it was like you had superpowers. The game was just broken though because like you were so powerful, like it made the game extremely easy. But like so it was less fun to play. But like there was definitely moments of like greatness. But like I didn't realize this until like this was announced. Like there's like a big divide between like people that loved Saints Row 1 and 2 but didn't love 3 and 4. And there's people like a lot of people like us that love 3 and 4 but didn't like 1 and 2. And this is
Right.
like and I think that even like the developers talked about after 4 came out, I was like we got to go back to the drawing board to figure out what the hell we're going to do with the rest of this cuz they kind of went I mean I remember after they beat us like I mean they really like because I believe at the end like they start time traveling. And I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if they did, like started doing like these Saints Row spin-offs with like at these like different whatever, but they kind of went back dry board and like it's been I guess they did Age of the Mayhem in between that, which no one played. But
Yeah.
so then like this is all they've done since then. So it's been like I said 8 years basically between these games. And it sounds like everybody's really upset about this thing because it's like they're trying to like hit the middle of like one and two and three and four fan base because they've, like I said, there's a lot of people that fell off at three and there's a lot of people that jumped on at three. So, um, good or bad, like I said, I love three and four is still really good. I did not like one or two that much. Um, so it's very weird. Like I guess like it sounds like they're trying to find a way to like balance it and make everybody happy, and they just found a way to make nobody happy uh, out of this because it's like it's very much more of a realistic. Um, I don't know, like more of like they're going for more realism. They said in this, but it's also like the wild craziness that you love of Saints Row. So I just don't know how they're
Okay.
gonna. I don't know how they're gonna hit it. How it's gonna land. Um, I would just been very happy with like and like they said, there's they I guess in the preview events people asked like if there's gonna be any ties to the previous game. They said no, absolutely not. This is a brand new reboot. Those games do not exist in this game. So like Johnny Gat, all those characters do not exist in this game. So it's very curious how it's gonna work out. But wait to see. Maybe we'll see some gameplay for it here in like because I want to hold before because this is all of the secondhand information we've got right now. But like besides like glimpses of gameplay. But I definitely want to wait and see more from this game before I like really judge this game. Next up, Marvel's Midnight Suns, which is that XCOM developer game, the Firaxis, people that make XCOM. This is the game that leaked right before E3 last year, and everybody assumed it would be at E3, even though everybody said this game will not be at E3. They didn't, whatever. It's the internet for you. Um, this one is, they say it's a tactical RPG. Like Ghost Rider, Blade will be in there. Iron Man, Wolverine will be in there. This is coming in March 2022. This was a CGI trailer, and we're gonna see the gameplay reveal on September 1st. So in a few days, we'll be seeing the gameplay on that one. I've always been the guy that's always been like, I hate when people fucking go nuts over CG trailers when we've never seen the gameplay, especially for a brand new
Right.
IP, all that. But I gotta tell you, the vibes I'm getting from this trailer, the CGI trailer, I've kind of like I was super pumped for like the idea of like an XCOM Marvel's game. Like I love the XCOM gameplay style. I just hate everything else about XCOM. Like I don't want all the other like shit you gotta do in between the game. I like playing the game. Um, and the vibes you're getting out of this one is like dealing a lot with like with magic and ruins and stuff like that. And like I guess not all the characters from like Marvel are gonna be there. It's just some of the characters. That kind of like I don't know the stuff you're hearing out of this kind of just like bummed me out a little bit. Like I just want I'm like oh cool I can have I'll have all the Avengers will be there. Maybe we'll have some like Wolverine and the X-Men will be there. It's like no, it's just like a handful. I don't know. I mean like I said, I don't want to judge it. It's kind of like the Saints Row thing. I don't want to judge it too much, but it's like my expectations have changed drastically from this. I don't know. I know you're not the Marvel guy, Gables, but you got any interest in when this we finally see some gameplay?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I didn't even know what the hell this game was when I first saw the trailer of it. All I know is like there's Marvel characters, there's a select couple of Marvel characters that they showcase and stuff. But I don't know whether or not what the main aim of this game is supposed to be. Is it supposed to be like some sort of like Marvel Ultimate Alliance style of games? Is it
No, it's
supposed to
gonna
be
be an
some sort of
XCOM.
fighting game?
It's gonna be an XCOM game.
XCOM. Oh, okay. So it's going to be like a real time strategy sort of esque type of
Yeah,
game. Oh, well, honestly, I am kind of like so on it, Not really into that sort of style of games, but at the same time, I haven't seen too much gameplay and everything else to get a very good informed opinion about it.
all right. Yeah. Like I said, well, we'll see gameplay on the first. So wait till then. Next up, we had Call of Duty Vanguard. We saw some gameplay from the campaign. Um, and this is kind of based on all the rumors were true from this, where it's like an alternate reality of like if World War II didn't end after Hitler's death. I don't remember. I
Hmm.
don't remember when they said it's going to what time period it is. Like I think it's like the 50s or 60s, but it's basically like the World War's been going. It's still going on. Which I am a huge fan of, like alternate like history kind of stuff. I love that, especially like World War II, like when like the alternate reality of like of if the Nazis won or if Hitler didn't die, like Wolfenstein. Not only is that game fantastic, I love like reading all the news articles and like reading all the lore of that game because it's so fascinating. Like even though it's a fantastical version of it, it's still cool to me. And like there's a TV show on Amazon. I can't remember, Man in the High Castle. Um, that I got into for a couple years. I never went back and finished it, but Like that was all about like the history of like if basically if it's like I think it takes place in like the 60s and like if the Nazis won the war and like took over the world kind of shit. It's like I love that idea. I just don't know if Call of Duty like those stories have never been like really great. They've had great moments and like really cool like I've always called them the Michael Bay of video games. Of just cool moments like popcorn movie kind of stuff. Um, I don't know if they have like the Huxpa, I guess. I don't know. To pull off a really cool story, potentially. But I don't know, Gables. Like, what's your thoughts on all this?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, it's like I can understand like some bit about it though, but I really don't have too much of like a solid opinion really about it. It's not really much inside of my forte.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously, everything going on with the whole Activision shit, and it's only getting worse because going to find
Yeah,
out that they're shredding evidence.
yeah, yeah.
It's not looking good for them.
Conveniently,
It's not looking good for them. They sound like the real piece of shit over there.
it's
So
like it's just they're finding ways to make it worse.
yeah,
It's hilarious. It's just tragically hilarious how
yeah.
it's like
It
you get accused for this stuff, you're doing unlawful shit, and all of a sudden it's found that you're destroying the actual evidence in
yeah.
the lawsuit.
Yeah, and it's like it's not funny, but it's at the point. It's like all we could do is just kind of throw our hands up and laugh a little bit at this. Like
Yeah, really.
it's awful. It's awful what's happening, but it's just like you got like it's just everything they're doing is just so stupid. Um, but moving on, we got the Halo Infinite. We got a like this is like the weird shit like people were talking about. Is like the coolest shit that could have come out. Like I think the baseline for people were expecting of the the Xbox Gamescom thing was like, oh, we'll get a release date for Halo, and it didn't happen. I was like, oh, maybe they're gonna announce some 20th anniversary of Xbox kind of stuff. Didn't happen. No, Gables. They
Hmm.
saved it all for Jeff Keighley for some reason.
Oh,
Like,
brother.
so we got the release date here, but unfortunately, Xbox, who is the worst at like leaking shit on their store, they
Yep.
leak shit constantly on there. They always post shit way like months early, sometimes in this case a few hours too early. Um, so the Halo Infinite release date is December 8th.
Hmm.
Talk about last week they said the online co-op won't be there at launch, but they also showed off the Halo Infinite Xbox Elite controller that you can get. And well, you can't get, it's out of stock already. And then the Xbox 20 Series X 20th anniversary console, which Gables and I were drooling at because we were looking it up on here before we started recording. It's like, god damn, that fucking controller is sexy as fuck, and so is that console. Man,
Yes.
two
Yes,
hundred
to be
dollars
perfectly
though.
honest, with you, man, like $200 for one controller is like, God, that is just like a freaking deal breaker for me. But like, if it's packaged alongside of the Xbox Series X console, and it's like, you know what, that would be fine by me because yeah, I am a Halo fan. I really did like the design of that console, and if I can find it somewhere, with a decent price that I can actually have the money to buy this stupid thing, then yeah, that would be actually pretty nice
Yeah,
because I want a Series X.
yeah, yeah. Man, I mean, I got the Series S, so I'm good with that now. Even though every now
Yeah.
and again, I gotta adjust my seat here. Sorry. Uh, every now and again, like I regret, like, gosh, I should just got the fucking X. I should have just waited and got the X. But like, man, the Series S has been the best purchase I've made this year by far.
There
Um,
you go.
but yeah, like, goddamn it, like I was telling Gables like my thing about controllers, and it's like I fucking love a good looking controller and that, and I keep like getting close to like wanting to buy some of these like, I was telling him like all these other like controllers I bought in the past, like special ones and stuff, and it's like I have I pre-ordered the Forza one, but I was like I can still cancel it because like I feel like if I'm gonna buy like another Xbox controller, it should just be the Elite, but I'm like I want to buy like a cool one, but also I'm kind of afraid because like Series I gotta imagine Series 3 is coming eventually. Or there's gonna be an
Mm.
awesome Gears one, and I'm like, fuck, should I got
Oh yeah, dude.
because I remember I bought my Xbox One controller. I have the pink and black one that I love, but if you can't tell, I love pink and black. If you're watching us the video version, um, but they like not too long, literally like the week after they released that when they announced the Gears 4 one, and it was fucking awesome. I'm like, god damn it. So I want to wait till like when Gears 6 comes, if or, like before. But I mean, like I said, I got that Forza one. That's so sexy. But the next game that showed up was Cult of Lamb, which is kind of like a it's a Devolver Digital game, so obviously there's going to be a style there to it. But it's coming in 2022. I believe it's coming to Game Pass. But it's a base building and dungeon crawling game. But like I believe it's like a roguelike, and it's like basically like you're sacrificing. You play as a lamb, but you're also sacrificing lambs to like this like basically like the devil sort of like to these people or this monster, I guess, kind of thing. It's a very unique looking game and cool like idea. I don't, like I said, for the most part Devolver Digital games don't really stick with me, but it looked very unique when I saw it. Did you see this one, Gables?
I did see this one. It looked kind of interesting in some regards and stuff like that. But I'm at that same point, it's like the roguelikes, unless something is like specifically interesting about it, they don't strike me as like fairly enticing to want to play. And this was just kind of one of those games where it's like I saw the gameplay of it, I saw the general idea of it, but I was just not interested in playing with it
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like it's gotta be like I've never been a roguelike guy until Hades, and I beat my very first roguelike this week. I'll talk about that later.
Hey, there you
Yeah.
go. But what I will say, it's like we're at a point now with specific game genres, especially with Metroidvanias and with roguelikes, that there are everywhere. And now it's starting to feel like the oversaturation to a point where a lot of them are either starting to blend in to be like the same type of stuff, and it's starting to like kind of like stagnate. It's sort of similar like years ago when we had so many of like these 2D platformers, say like on
GTA clones, shit like that.
the
Like
GTA
you go with
clones,
that. It's
like
like, well, someone was
yeah,
saying, I think it was this week. It was during this week. With the yeah, it was after the opening night live and all that. Like all these and like the indie games that were shown off throughout the week as well. It's like, excuse me, I'm very burpy right now. There's three type of games. There's the Metroidvania. There's a roguelike that sometimes bounces in between the Metroidvania, and there's
yep,
there's fucking battle royale games. That's it. That's the list.
yes.
That's all we have.
That's the genre of games that are predominantly coming out right now, and it's
Yeah.
like unless you have a specific type of gimmick or have a specific type of thing that's unlike the others, you're going to be ignored
Yeah.
and you're going to be buried on those digital download lists because only the higher echelon of those types are going to be making it, getting selling great.
Yeah.
Hades is one, and then you have like things like Hollow Knight being another.
Yeah.
Those are good examples of both
Oh,
genres.
Souls likes
Hades
that Souls games.
and like
That's the
Souls
other one too.
likes.
Yeah. There's
Oh yeah,
very
the
there's
friggin'
very
Souls
limited.
likes
Yeah. I mean
like a
that's
Dead Cells or shit.
that's just the that's how games are though. Like if one of these things
Yeah.
blows up, it's like I said, like 3 generations ago, GTA 3 came out, and then every game had to be GTA, and then
Yep.
then Call of Duty came out, every game had to be Call of Duty. It's just that's every game had to have multiplayer. It's like that's video games for you. Like that's gonna happen, but it's just worse now because like I should say worse. It's just there's a lot more of them now, and it's a lot more flooded because of indie games. Because we didn't have we had indie games 10 years ago, but not to the level of the way we have indie games now.
Yeah, now we have triple A like roguelikes, say like
Yeah,
Returnal and the upcoming Deathloop and stuff, to where
yeah,
their concepts are interesting and stuff, but I'm kind of hesitant in wanting to play them because I know exactly the type of styling of game things that they're trying to be
yeah,
or aiming to be, but yet that I'm not really grasping on to wanting to play them
yeah. No, I get
at
that.
all.
I definitely think if Returnal came out before Hades, Returnal would be looked at a lot better. But it's like I think Hades just might be. I think Hades just might be a better game, guys. It seems like it. Um,
It feels
I
like it.
played both, and I really got into Hades, and I did not like Returnal. So, no, I didn't dislike Returnal. That game was just very hard, and I mean, it's roguelike. It was very hard, but it was very hard, and a lot of shit was thrown at you. I just didn't like it. It's not my bag. One game that is my bag is Midnight Fight Express. This game looked fucking phenomenal. This is one of the games I was talking about, like that was in the sizzle reel with Humble Games the day previously
Hmm.
on Xbox at the Xbox event. But it was like that was like the one highlight of that whole thing outside of the Forza controller. Um, for me, and then they got like a full actual trailer for this. This is coming next summer. It's made by one guy, and it's basically gives me like that. What was that Devolver Digital game? Hotline Miami. It's giving me
Okay.
that kind of vibes, but like a
Ooh.
lot more. It's not like the 2D 8-bit, whatever you want to call, or the top-down 8-bit kind of graphics. But it's like it's an indie game, so it's not like it's crazy. But this guy, he's a father making this game by himself. from Poland.
Wow.
Uh, but man, this game looks fucking phenomenal. Everybody, I implore everybody to go check this trailer out if you haven't. But it's basically you just beating the shit out of a lot of people, and like you're like fucking breaking people over goddamn like sinks. You got like a fucking thing like you're trolling around hitting people with. This game looks awesome. I cannot wait for this game when it comes out next year. Did you get a chance? Did you see this one, Gables?
I don't think I got a chance to see that trailer, but that sounds interesting. The
I'll,
concept of it.
I'll have to send it to you. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Another game that was talked about was so this one was like they basically delayed it without announcing it, without like they said they delayed it without actually saying they delayed it. To steal a term from TikTok there. So TMNT Shredder's Revenge. We had a character
Hmm.
reveal. This game was supposed to come out this year, and they said basically it's like, hey, this game's coming out in 20. This game's coming out. They didn't say like, oh, it's delayed. They say this game's coming in 2022, and here's a new character, and it's April O'Neil as a playable
Yeah.
character. It looks like she just kind of does a lot of the same things that like the turtles do. Like there's that one point where like the turtles will do like a thing where they like use their backs and like sandwich a guy, an enemy, and she actually does that move too. So I guess in that turn, and she can also like revive her downed like when the turtles get knocked down, she can revive them with pizza. So
Oh.
that's a fun fact. You can also do that with me in real life. Um, so
I really like that gameplay trailer though. I really did like the whole echelon of the classic arcade like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles style of like beat 'em up games and stuff. I do like the addition of April O'Neil because that's a classic character. She has looks like her own type of like moves as well, specialty sort of moves. But I hope that means they're going to be adding in more characters than that because I want to see some Casey Jones. I want to see some like maybe Usagi Yojimbo. Just all these classic like TMNT characters. So yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing that game like in 2022. Kind of bummed that it's not coming out this year because I am craving like a good Turtles brawler. Like hell, I've played through games like Hyperstone Heist. I've played a little bit of Turtles in Time and stuff. Those are some fun games. And the original TMNT game on the NES, which that can be hard if you don't know what the hell you're
mm,
doing. But man, it's just classic nostalgia at its best, man. It's like when I saw that game revealed for the first time, I'm like, yes, yes, I want this. I want to play this.
yeah,
And God, yeah, every time I see it, the combat looks smooth. It has that classic Turtles game flair, and I am immediately just drawn to it.
yeah. I think the only thing that sucks though is this game's only coming to Switch and PC.
Yeah,
So that's kind of a bummer because I was like, kind of was hoping to have like online co-op and all that because I feel like
yeah.
this game would obviously be a lot more fun to like play with each other. Even though like we both beat Streets Rage 4 and Battletoads without
Hmm.
by ourselves, but I was like, man, I was like, that was like the big thing I was hoping for was like online co-op out of this, and I mean it's coming to Switch, it's coming to PC as well, but it's coming to Switch. And
Dude, if that thing had online co-op, we could just like a voice chat or something like on Discord or where the hell
yeah,
the shit, and
that's
just do it
true.
that
I
way.
just don't. I think the odds of it happening and the odds of it being good are just kind of slimmer. Um,
Ah,
But yeah, well, I'll wait and see. If it comes, hopefully it comes. Hopefully it comes some other stuff though. Next up though, we had Super Monkey Ball. The Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. It's the
mm-hmm.
I think the 15th anniversary or 20th anniversary of this game. It's basically like it's kind of like that Super Mario Party kind of thing they're doing later this year, where it's just like it's like the greatest hits of all of these things, of all the mini games, stuff like that. They did say that it's only in person co-op, which kind of
Okay.
defeats the purpose of this whole fucking game. Like the whole point of this game is that mini games are a blast,
Yeah.
and I can't play this with other people online.
It doesn't make any sense why you'd have a mode that specifically aims for that and you don't have online multiplayer in the year 2021 on its 20th anniversary, for
I
God's
know
sake.
it's Super Monkey Ball, but there's a lot of smaller games that have online fucking multiplayer. Um, Mario Party, even though it's garbage, has online multiplayer. I feel like if
Now
you're
it does,
behind
yes.
if you're behind the eight ball on this, maybe you're fucking up. But that game's coming fairly soon, I believe, and they said that there's gonna be a post launch DLC of Morgana from Persona
Okay.
5. Persona 5, right?
Yeah, Persona 5.
Yeah. Uh, they will be a playable character in the game. So
Okay, that's cool though. You have like Atlas. You pretty much have like one of the Atlas characters from the Persona games, the mainline Persona games. So that's cool. A little bit of additional things and stuff. And I am fairly excited about that Monkey Ball game. Don't get me wrong here. I mean, I don't like the idea that there's no online co-op with that stuff, but at the same time, it's basically Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2, and
yeah,
like the other one, the Wii game as well. But it's like all those classic courses and stuff. I mean, all the fun shit that you can go through and experience. I mean, hell, I still have Monkey Ball 2 on my GameCube, so it's like,
yeah, there you go. Yeah. But moving on though, the Splitgate, that game's been in alpha. It's finally out now. With a new map. That game's it's a free to play game, but it's kind of like it's been taking off a lot on the shooter realm. Next up though, Riders Republic, they announced an open beta that actually is closed as of today, the 28th. I guess I didn't realize that it closed so early. Um, but it was there'll be a closed beta you could sign up for, I guess. But um, that game is coming October 28th. Not really. There wasn't really anything announced other than that though. That there was going to be there was a beta. So, but I've heard very underwhelming things about this game. So, um, I don't. It sounds very steep like. Um,
that
from
sounds disappointing.
yeah, which I don't know. I don't really know what the best case scenario for for that game would be. And my phone's being very stupid right now as I'm trying to. Why is it not loading? Nothing is loading, Gables. Nothing is loading.
Oh.
Uh oh. Give me a second here. Give me a second here. Okay, I'm getting somewhere now. Getting somewhere now. We're getting somewhere now. Why are you doing this to me?
It can
Oh,
sense you're afraid.
here we go. Um, so they announced that there is a so the fuck where's that here? So Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Sorry about that, people.
Okay.
They gave a new trailer for that game. That game was supposed to come out like 2 years ago, and then obviously then COVID happened, so it delayed even more. They basically like revamped the Lego games. We haven't seen the
Okay.
actual like we've seen some like early gameplay stuff from it, like I said, like 2019. I think it was like E3.
Yes.
And they showed some gameplay for that. That's coming in spring 2022. Looks really good. Looks really cool. Um, I just I fell off the Lego games pretty hard years ago. I used to really enjoy them, but I just fell off of them, like 10 years ago. But I think a lot of other people did too. So I hope this brings people back, and I hope it does well. And maybe they can make the Star Wars story cool, because God knows nobody else can. Um, I don't know. I mean, what's your kind of hopes for this game, if any?
Honestly, my hopes for the game is that it's fairly enjoyable and stuff, and that people will actually go through and take the time to enjoy the content, because really, I'm not really much into Star Wars that much. I mean, I like the original Star Wars movies and stuff and some Star Wars games, but at the same time, it's like this doesn't even do anything for me,
Okay.
really.
Yeah.
If
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
like I was saying, it's like if it was like say Lego like Batman or something like that, or maybe the Marvel stuff, yeah, potentially because those games are interesting to me as well.
Yeah. Like I said, I used to really like those games back in the day. I just the format just kind of became cookie cutter. And
Hmm.
I mean, if this comes out and does well, a lot of people are seeming there's a lot of buzz and hype around this game. So hope it comes out and hits. Next up, this game we talked about years ago, uh,
Right.
Outlast Trials.
Oh
So
wow.
this I was like when they announced it, I'm like, this really? It's a co-op survival horror game. It is so I'm just gonna read here the description here. So you and your team of up to four are unwillingly test subjects thrust to a series of physical and mental ordeals tormented by iconic characters and challenged alone or in teams to survive with their sanity intact. The game will come out in 2022. Gives me very much like Dead by Daylight kind of vibes to it.
That does sound like that, doesn't it?
So yeah, and like there's those games, just like roguelikes, stuff like that. These kind of games are a dime a dozen anymore. So
Those asymmetric type of like 4v1 style of games have been done to death too. I mean, come on. It's like I understand what they're initially going for with okay, let's do like a survival horror thing and stuff, like four people in a team against like all this other random stuff, all these classic characters from that series, like say the Doctor inside the original Outlast
Yeah.
and like whatever the hell
Yes, you can.
else.
Maybe you can find your waffles in this game, but that's a
Oh
very old joke
god.
for people.
Oh
But
no shit.
uh, yeah, I don't know. When I remember when this like I think they when it leaked years ago, I'm like, what? Why are you doing this? And then it's just like they're talking about the other iconic characters. I'm like, you've had two fucking games, two. This isn't quite Ubisoft when they like talk about like so and so's iconic hat. I'm like, how is it iconic? This is the game isn't even out yet. It's like they did with I forgot I for the first time ever I forgot his name. The most generic man in the world from Watch Dogs One. Um, I always used to remember his name because it was so stupid.
Ethan Mars?
No, I don't know. I don't
I'm thinking
know.
the Heavy Rain, aren't I?
Yeah. But the character they had like he had a hat, and it's like it's so and so's iconic hat. I'm like, this is the first game in the franchise. How is this hat iconic already? It's like now we're talking about iconic enemies from a game that we've had two of, and the game's been out for. I guess if Ubisoft does it, anybody can do it at this point. I don't know. It's fuck. It's just whatever. This game's gonna come out. No one's gonna care. Um, then this next game, Gables. So the only way I could pronounce it is I gotta say Togepi, Dokavi. It's called Dokavi, but I gotta say the other part to get me to that point to say Dokavi. Um, this game is. Um, Gables, did you see the trailer for this game?
Dokkaebi. No, I don't think I have.
I need you to watch this trailer. I'm gonna send this to you too. You're gonna go through a whirlwind of emotions. This game just keeps
Okay.
going places. So it is basically like an open world. It's the open world Pokemon game that we all want, but it's not Pokemon.
Okay.
But the art style is like looks is like graphically is really impressive, but also scary as shit. And it's like a 4 minute long trailer, and it just keeps getting more like it just keeps getting crazy. Like you're gliding at one point, and then you're on a roller skates, and then you're on that one wheel skateboard thing that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. And then like you're going around town, and then you're battling, and then you're catching shit. It's just weird. It just I don't know
Huh.
if
That sounds kind of
I'm
familiar.
excited about this game, and I don't even want to play it. I'm just excited for this game. I I have no idea what it is. I don't know what it's coming to. I don't know when it's coming out. There's no news on that. Um, but it's happening, Gables. It's happening. Um, but yeah, it goes some places. I just need you to do me that favor and watch this trailer for me. Uh, Another game, Jet the Far Shore. This is the PS4 or PS5 exclusive game. Actually, it might be coming to PS4, but it was announced last year at the PlayStation event. It's coming October 5th to PS5, and I believe it's 4 as well. It's like the No Man's Sky uh, space exploration space game looking game, but it's like it's definitely like a smaller budget. They had a preview event that came out a few days ago, and nobody really seemed to like it. So let's just tell you something. It's very rare when like a preview event happens and people come away with like negative feelings. And but that was one of them. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't think there's too much to say on that game, but it's coming October 5th. I was thinking with that date it would be a PS Plus game, but it's not. So yeah. It's also coming to PC as well though. Horizon Forbidden West got a release date. It's gonna come out February 18th to PS4 and PS5. Um, I think they said. Oh no, never mind. I misread that. But yeah. So it's coming. That we didn't need more gameplay on it. Just the release date. There is the rumored state of play coming in September. So maybe we'll see some more from that then. But yeah, we finally got a release date for that. It's crazy that the two big uh, exclusives from PlayStation and Xbox got release dates at Jeff Keighley's thing. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, that's fairly interesting.
Gales, I'm gonna have to find this thing later. I saw a screenshot that someone posted. Uh, the next 3 months of 2022, the first 3 months of 2022 are fucking wild. Um,
They're stacked.
yes, it's crazy. So
it's like a full year's worth of AAA releases are releasing in the first 3 months of 2022.
Yeah, it's basically like two holiday seasons, but without mine. Take out the Call of Duty, but put like imagine two like holiday periods put together. Basically, is what we're getting. Um, yeah, it's nuts. Speaking of February 2022 and PlayStation games, getting release dates. February 22nd, Sifu, which is that martial art like roguelike game.
Oh, the seafood.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes.
that's coming out on February 22nd. So you're anybody if your wallets are fucked is all I'm gonna say. Um, and then last but not least, the one more thing was we got a 6 minute trailer that Hideo Kojima put together himself. Death Stranding's director's cut, showing off a bunch of stuff like you have a robot that helps you that will carry stuff for you. He'll even carry you for you. You have a catapult that will shoot you across places. You have boot stabilizers. You can jump down the mountain now. You can fall from long distances. You have ramps you can build. You have the buddy bot. He'll carry stuff for you, or he'll just give you a ride to places. They have like racetracks you can put down. Basically, they're just like taking away all the parts of the game, which is great because everything is great about the game except for the game. So I gotta say, Gables, I am tempted when this game comes out next month to give it a chance for the fourth time on I'll pay the $10 upgrade to just not have to play the game and just get to the cutscenes. God forbid that's the only part that's cool, interesting about that game.
So they take away. So basically, what's going on is he's taking away the portion of the game where people hate the most, and that's walking from place to place.
People like a lot of people love that game. There's a lot of people that made that was their game of the year. That was Justin's game of the year. Like
Huh.
there's a lot of people like game journalists that love that game. It's very much like we were talking about for the podcast. Like there's a whole 12 minutes thing that was going on. Where like and like No More
Hmm.
Heroes 3, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. Where like that game came out and people either there's no like middle ground. It's like either you love it or hate it kind of thing. And yeah, so it sounds like if you want to, like, there's new missions and stuff like they've added a bunch of like story content to it as well. It's not just that, but there's like all these like kind of like quality of life improvements. But basically, it's just like we're gonna make it so you have to do very little as possible. Like if you just want like
Ah.
if you don't want to spend an hour tracking and walking and falling down mountains and trying to find the best path to get to places, we can just get rid of that or make it as easy for you as possible, which is great because I had that game on very easy and I still fucking was infuriated by that game. So yeah,
Hmm.
I'm tempted now to give that an unprecedented fourth attempt on that game. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm like 25 hours in.
Dude, it's like you buy that, you upgrade your thing, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, I just beat it in a couple hours.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
right. It's like 7 hours. You gotta remember it's a Kojima game, so there's at least 6.5 hours of cutscenes. So I'll beat it in like 7 hours. Um, but yeah, God damn it, Gables. I'm probably gonna end up doing it. I'm probably gonna pay the
Yeah,
ten
you
bucks.
probably are.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I don't know why I'm gonna fight it. I don't know if I'm gonna. I'm not. I probably won't buy it in next month because God knows the fall is. I mean, It's looking pretty stacked. Even though there's some gaps in there. There's some big games coming. But yeah, that was everything on Gamescom or opening night live. That is. I thought it was a really good show. It was like 2 hours long. It was very much front loaded though. The first like 40 minutes was just like fucking craziness, like Saints Row, new Marvel game, Halo, just a ton of shit. And then there was like a stretch in there when it was like, okay, this is all right, this is all right. I mean, it was very much like if you're into it, you're into it. If you're not, you're not. And then like 20 minutes or so was just Horizon, Sifu, uh, Death Stranding, director's cut if you're into that kind of stuff. But like, it was just kind of, I think as a one more thing, it was kind of disappointing. Well, they did have the part where Jeff Keighley did announce that there's a Muppet movie coming out later this year, and he has a cameo in it. Which, if you know Jeff Keighley, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool one more thing, honestly. Like I love Jeff Keighley, I really do. I love Opening Night Live. I love his Summer Game Fest stuff. I love Game Awards. I look forward to it. Like I think a lot of people out there just don't like him. I don't really know why. I love him. And it's like it's so cool to like see like I just love because like if he didn't do this shit, nobody else would.
Nah, yeah, that's very
I would
true.
much rather have Game Awards than not have Game Awards. Like that shit is awesome. Um, but yeah, anyways, it's very cool. Like he talks about he's very open about it. He's a huge Muppets fan. So it's really awesome for him the fact that he's gonna have a cameo in the Muppet movie. So that was kind of cool. That was one more thing, but I thought overall it was a good event. It was a little long. That's the only problem I have sometimes with Jeff Keighley stuff is like he needs like an editor sometimes because some of those events just drag on too long. But I thought it was very good. You know, it's like it's not E3 like a normal E3 like a like not this year's E3 but like past year's E3 or anything like that. But there's enough big announcements in here that I thought it was very enjoyable. And the fact that he had Death Stranding in it tells me, Gables, that the next Kojima game that's supposed to be an Xbox exclusive is going to be at Game Awards.
Possibly, yeah, that's a very strong possibility
Yeah,
at this point in time because let's be perfectly honest, Jeff Keighley and stuff has given a lot of free time and stuff like that to Hideo Kojima to showcase Death Stranding, get out a whole bunch of stuff, and you are probably onto something right there. The next Kojima game, it's going to be showcased in December.
yeah,
I agree with you. That sounds like it's going to be a given.
yeah.
So
And well,
it's interesting.
people like the part like I was on with, there were sections of like this whole event that just kind of like that weren't very good. But they're basically like there's parts where like like he's not paying money to like an Xbox or PlayStation, they'll give money to people like, hey, we'll pay you to put this game in our event, kind of thing. Like we'll pay you to announce Devil May Cry 5 at our Xbox event. We'll give you money for that. So we have that moment, and people when they think Devil May Cry 5, they think Xbox kind of shit.
Yep.
PlayStation does too. Nintendo does as well. Everybody does it.
Yep.
Jeff Keighley doesn't do that. He doesn't have obviously he's not a big corporation. He doesn't have that money. So the fact that he's able to like get the release date for Halo when there's an Xbox event the day before, the fact that he's able to like they're willing to hold all the information for him, the fact that he's able to get the Horizon date, the fact that he's able to get all these games revealed at his event says something. But also it's like when you see like a lot of like basically these ads for like these like why is this game here? Why are they talking about this here? It's like they're probably paying him to be at this event. So that like
Yep.
there's a balancing act. There's politics you got to play in this stuff. It's like everything. I'm the placement. Like we don't want to be here. We want to be at the beginning. We want to be the one more thing kind of stuff. Like that's. I think the fact that the Death Stranding was the one more thing tells me that, you know, this is this is like we'll put you we'll make you the one more thing here, but Game Awards you're gonna be there, Kojima. Like that's what I'm getting out of that. That's my. I mean, obviously, I don't know for a fact, but that's what I think. Um, but yeah, that's it for the big news. Let's move on to some of our quick hitters here, Gables. Uh,
Okay.
so one thing here, this basically I'm gonna let you take it away here on this one. So Destiny 2 had a bunch of, speaking of Gamescom, had a bunch of updates here. So I want you to tell us what you think is going with that, and what's your opinions on what they showed off.
All right. So basically, Bungie had their own type of showcasing event in celebration of an anniversary for Destiny 2 that's coming up. And not just Destiny 2, I think just Destiny in general. But anyway, what this presentation had to revolve around is in regards to its next major expansion that's going to be releasing in early 2022 by the title of The Witch Queen. And so the Witch Queen expansion thing is based upon a character that's been on and off and stuff over the past like few years and stuff in Destiny 2 called Sapatoon. And Sapatoon is a representative of the Hive and stuff like that. I think she is like one of the daughters or some of like not Crota. Don't quote me on that because I'm still kind of
I'm
like
writing it down. I'm gonna put it on the internet.
yeah, I'm still kind
Gables
of like
said
learning
this.
a bit about the terms and stuff like that, and the story wise for Destiny and stuff. One of my other friends is better in that type of field than I am, but at the same time, what this is like Bungie was showcasing this new expansion and new features that are coming to this game come next year. One of them is a crafting system and stuff for their weapons, which is interesting because you could simultaneously choose a specific weapon that you like, right? And if you're going to be crafting this weapon, you can craft like certain types of abilities and certain types of things onto these weapons. So currently inside Destiny 2, you can acquire a weapon by basically almost anything, killing enemies, completing missions, doing some sort of like dungeons or side quests or whatever the hell you choose to do that. You earn a specific weapon. It will have a specific types of abilities automatically for some, but you are relying upon like RNG in order to acquire certain other types of traits and abilities. Now, unless you have like a companion app on your phone or something, like I use this thing called Little Light, and quintessentially what that does is like it keeps track of what you get in Destiny 2 and stuff, and it will tell you like, okay, this weapon is very good in PvP. This weapon is very good in PvE. Okay, this is going to be a god roll for this mode or this and that, you know. So quintessentially, before then, we were relying upon like RNG rolls, like just random chance, in order to get these good or like fantastic weapons. But now with this new feature coming in 2022 with the crafting of weapons, it makes the process a little bit easier, as now you're going to be farming
Mm-hmm.
resources in order to gather the materials needed in order to create these specific type of weapons, but you get to choose the type of traits and stuff you give these weapons. And so that's one of the features that was unveiled with that. But another had to be in regards to clarifying certain things for like with season 15, the season of Lost. They show a little bit of like season of the Lost. One of the major things that is coming with this season is the thing with there's like an ammo change for primary weapons, for like primary ammo and stuff. So before you got to collect certain like cartridges and stuff to replenish your primary ammo and stuff, kind of the same thing you do with like your special ammo and your heavy ammo. Well, they made primary ammo infinite, and so you don't have to worry about running out of weapons, running out of ammo, which can be a problem, especially if you're going inside certain dungeons or certain raids or certain like other stuff where you'll go through all your ammo pretty quickly if you don't know what you're doing. Like I've been in a couple cases with friends and stuff where I have been trying to search for ammo cartridges and stuff like that in order to try to get things done in a specific mission. But that was like one of those new features. But on top of that, they announced that there's different types of dungeons, different types of like missions, and there's different things that are going to be releasing in this new expansion thing. So later on, or so, like at work and stuff, I get a text message from my friend. He's saying that he's like, yeah, I was naughty and I went through and I purchased this and stuff, and you should purchase this too. And that leads me into the next thing that Bungie did go through and announce. There are different purchasing options for this expansion. So the set game in and of itself, the set expansion is like, I believe it's $40, $30 or $40, just for the base game alone. That has that content and this and that. Well, there's like another bundle of it that has like a 30th anniversary or something like that that has its own specific sets, and then there's like another one that has another specific set of sets and stuff like that. What I'm saying is there are 3 to 4 different types of pay options and stuff. And the one that my friend went with was the $100 version of this thing where you get everything, including like not only you're getting the expansion, you're getting like these special dungeons and there's special like type of other things, but you get to pay like for basically 4 seasons of this expansion. So, to put things to perspective for those that are not familiar with Destiny 2's season format, you pay for each season. So, it's like for this latest season, I had to pay $10. So, if you think of it this way, it's like you're paying $10 per season in order to get this like loadout and stuff, what you're going to earn and this and that. You're basically paying for 4 seasons, which is $40 worth, on top of getting the expansion, which in and of itself they've valued at $40. And on top of that, you get like the 30th anniversary type of dealie for Bungie or whatever the hell it is.
Okay.
And that is pretty much in and of itself like a set amount and stuff. So that's why they justify trying to sell this thing for $100. Now, with that being said, how I feel about it is honestly, it's sort of mixed. I mean, I'm glad that there are specific I'm glad for all the content that's coming out. I am not a fan of locking specific game modes and like specific like dungeons and everything else on one purchasing tier, because quintessentially you're telling your fan base, okay, you could just purchase this individually, but you'll miss out on this other set right here that has all these other special dungeons and I have all these other special things that should be inside of the expansion to begin with
Yeah.
without having to pay more for that set. But on top of that, it's telling your consumers, yeah, you could spend like say $40 for this or $30 for that or $60 for this, but if you want the full on experience on top of everything else like exotic ghosts and like all this other shit, paying for all these other seasons, you have to spend $100 on this stuff. And I was fairly turned off by that because it's like, yeah, sure, I want to play your expansion. And quite honestly, I probably will play your expansion to the next year, but I don't want to pay $100 for this. I don't want to be forced and be told that, oh, unless you buy the highest amount, you're not going to get the full experience of this and that. So it's quintessentially the same type of AAA bullshit that other companies have done. And I understand what it is and why they're doing it. At the same time, it doesn't make it right
No,
to lock certain game content behind specific purchasing tiers. That is the biggest issues I've had with it. That being said, the Bungie showcase in of itself did address a bit of issues of what like the fans of the community have been like complaining about and have been wanting to try to accomplish and wanting for years in regards to this game. But from what I've gathered from like some bit of the Destiny 2 community, I mean, there are plenty of people that really love the whole expansion thing coming up here for Witch Queen. I mean, like my friend, he's excited about it. Our clan group, they're very excited about it because it's delving into specific characters and like specific type of like scenarios in the story with the Witch Queen like gaining light like light energy and stuff and having her and her hive mates having all these like freaking ghosts and stuff like that. The same thing as guardians and this and that. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic with that. But overall, I thought the Bungie showcase was good. But in terms of Bungie's like decisions in terms of their offerings and specific packages, I don't really agree with, and I don't really like all that much.
yeah, no. I'm trying to like look into it, see kind of like. 'Cause I remember like the what was the not Last Light,
Beyond Light,
Beyond Light. Thank you. I remember that one had different like pricing tiers, which isn't new in gaming. Like
yes,
I was on here not too long ago complaining about how the what is it? Oh, Madden, like they bumped the price up. It's $100 to get it 3 days early instead of $70, where it used to
ugh.
be 60 and 80. Now it's 70 and 100. So like I actually just bought the base edition for the first time in a long time. All right,
Uh huh.
so there's three editions you can get. There's a $40 standard edition.
Okay.
Comes with a gameplay, new 6-player activity, new raid, gear, weapon crafting, glaive weapon archetype. Um,
It's supposed to be a new weapon archetype. Yeah.
okay. So and then there's an $80 excuse me $80 deluxe edition that comes with all that stuff. The two dungeons is in the $80 one. Uh, it's basically so the $80 one has the dungeons. It has four has so basically God, this I'm on this weird website and it's just full of ads and it's driving me goddamn nuts. Um, I'm just having issues with technology today. But yeah, so the $80 edition here, if I can get back to it, if it'll quit fucking with me, it does have the two dungeons. Um, wait, does it? Yeah, two dungeons will be added in year 5. Two exotic SMGs. You have a exotic sparrow, and also will pay for the next 4 seasons. So really, it's like
Yep.
you're paying more up front, but you're getting if you're gonna buy all 4 seasons anyways, so you're just paying for all 4 seasons in advance. And then the 30th anniversary bundle, that's 100. Basically, the only difference between the $80 and the $100 is some of the like you get some like ornament sets and different like skins and shaders.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely like a big. I agree. It's kind of shitty to put that $80 hide it behind the $80 edition, but like or the 80 or $100 edition. But yeah, like I feel like for the most part though, like if you can swing it, like you're not paying any more in the long term. Like short term, you're paying more, but like I said, like Gables or anybody else like you, they're probably just like, counting on those. It's bullshit because they're gouging, not really gouging, but
Mm,
they're like getting that money up front from their hardcore fan base. Um, which unfortunately stuff like this is usually like the people that get you know hit the most. But I don't know.
yep.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy that they're putting 2 dungeons, and God knows those 2 dungeons will probably be like nothing of like importance. It's like when
Yeah, really.
PlayStation had like the exclusive stuff from like a year exclusivity on shit from Xbox uh, for a Destiny 1, and it was like the most minute of shit that like no one cared about.
That's very true.
So it'll probably end up being shit like that. Like you're gonna in the end you won't not paying any more money, but it's just kind of it's the idea of it. It's just still kind of shitty. But Gables, kind of a last one here for our quick hitters is so No More Heroes came out just yesterday as a recording, but Suda51 did announce that this is the end of the No More Heroes journey, the Travis Touchdown story. That this is it. So we've had 3 full games, and then the kind of the smaller game that came out a couple years ago. Uh, you've been the No More Heroes guy among us here. Kind of what's your thoughts and feelings about this being the end of this franchise?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm kind of sad because yeah, you do have to end this series like eventually in some regards, but it's like it's interesting to see that because it's like how popular as of late No More Heroes has gotten, especially with the announcement of the third game and stuff, and especially with the other game, that side game and stuff between two and three. And it's like it's interesting to see that series from where it is and stuff into where it is now, which basically the first two No More Hero games were called classic games in the Wii. Like, few people did go through and play it on the Wii. Some played it on the PS3 when that did go through and release. And most recently, this year has gotten a resurgence of popularity because they re-released on the Switch,
Yeah.
both one and two. So for the third one and stuff, I know it's been getting sort of like mixed reviews from like different types of people, but from what it sounds like to me, from some of the basic crux of the reviews and stuff, that it's quintessentially more of the same, like No More Heroes 1 and 2 was, which, in my honest opinion, I'm still going to go through and want to play the game because I'm a fan of the series and I want to go through and have some closure on it. And you know what? At that same time and stuff, I'm happy for No More Heroes, the series as it was and stuff. And Suda51, he wants to create that new content and stuff and like do all sorts of new things and stuff. And he's more than welcome to do that, more or less than like just saying, you know what, hey, that sounds like the end of one chapter and opening to another
Yeah.
for the Suda51.
Yeah, and I mean that could kind of be like kind of it's gonna come off kind of dickish. And I'm not trying to be that way, but it's like I guess it's like who would have thought 5 years ago, or even a few years ago, that you would get a third one of these games, let alone another like smaller game on top of that. So it's
Yeah,
like I don't know, like it's just one of those things where it's like yeah, it's awesome. It's sad that it's the end, but it's like I also feel like it's very rare that like especially like in anything, but especially in video games where it's like shit just gets to end on their terms and like um the creators' terms where it's not like like I talk about it's like for me it's like Metal Gear Solid, like that game didn't get to end on Kojima's terms, and God
yeah,
knows like it ended without an ending. I mean it ended it, but like there's a gap in there that was supposed to be filled in but wasn't filled in, and it's like
right.
God knows they're gonna keep making those games. So it's kind of those things where it's just like I think it's one of those things is like if you're a fan, you love these games, that's awesome for you, and it's like at least you're gonna have looks like potentially a definitive ending here. You gotta assume I mean I'm not a No More Heroes guy at all, but like the fact that he's probably gonna wrap it up with a nice bow at the end of 3 is probably to be assumed on that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just trying to find the positive in all this. But Gables, moving on from all that, we are now into what we've been playing. Gables, I want it from you. What have you been playing, buddy?
All right, so I did earlier on, I think before recording, even like mentioning to you that I did purchase the Ghost of Tsushima, the
Yep.
PS5 edition. I did have a little bit of time to experiment around with it, and I will say, yeah, it definitely does run better, does look better than say on the PS4, especially on the PlayStation 4 Pro, because this is the type of version and stuff that does not just 4K, but also the 60 frames per second and stuff on 4K, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of it, I'm noticing like all sorts of various like improvements in regards to the visual fidelity of it. Gameplay wise, still plays good, but at the same time, I have to relearn how to play the game because, for God's sake, I
Yeah.
tried to get into combat and stuff, and I forgot how to switch between different styles and stuff. And I got to admit, even when you're battling other like Mongol soldiers and stuff like that, and you're slicing them and stuff like that, and the blood splatters all over like your garb. It looks so fucking realistic with that shit. But yeah, you know what? I'm going to look forward to playing that some more because now that I actually have it, like on my current system, I have it downloaded, I have everything else. I still have to use my Ghost of Tsushima disc that I have for PS4 in order to
Mm.
play it on PS5. But at the same time, I'm gonna go through this game sooner or later and beat it at least. But I also been playing more Destiny 2 because Season 15 released, Season of the Lost, and going through the whole rigmarole stuff of getting used to like the new like stuff that added in, like I was saying previously, like primary ammo being infinite, all sorts of different weapons they're going through. A lot of the modification, like the mods and stuff that you get through, like the artifact this season, the artifact you hope this season and stuff has to do. We're in predominantly with like fusion rifles and linear fusion rifles. As a matter of fact, like the season pass that Destiny 2 players are buying this season has this specific type of linear fusion rifle that equips inside of not the kinetic but like the energy weapon slot, which use special ammo and all this and all that and stuff. But I do like it somewhat because it's like it doesn't take too long to go through and charge up the fire, but it's very potent. And the catalyst, the conditions you have to try to fill up and stuff in order to get the earn a catalyst to like an exotic weapon for this one doesn't seem like it's that difficult, especially since this week, since it's like one of the first major like weeks of the season and stuff, you get to play a mode called momentum control in PvP, and you can easily get kills because the health and stuff of the players on the other side, like the players in general, are like is not that big. So you can easily get like headshots or easily get this or that. It's almost like a one-shot kill sort of things with a lot of players and stuff. And so I was able to complete one condition for the catalyst of the weapon, and now I'm going through stage 2 of it because that's just the thing with some of these exotic missions and like regular missions in general. They'll go through and tell you the steps on which you have to go through and do. So with every other season and stuff, you have a main story that gets told like in chunks every like week, pretty much. And so there's like about 50 something steps, and I'm like at step like 5 or 6. It's basically the rest of the steps are going from here on. It's going to be from here on to the rest of the season. It's going to be like weekly. So we're dealing with one of the longest seasons right here for season 15, where it starts in August and it's going to end in February.
Mm.
So we got a good solid September, October, November, December, January, a good solid 5 months of this
Yeah.
season. So there's so much content that you can go through and do. I'm already completing like seasonal like triumphs and stuff like that to like complete with my repertoire stuff and increase that. But one of my friends inside of our Discord thing for our clan like posted a picture, and it wasn't even like a day and a half, and somebody's already hit the level 100 cap for like the season, the season pass for Season of the Lost. And it's like we're all like, what the hell? How the hell do you do that? It's like, well, he has no life.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's like
It's
that's
that,
the most easiest way to think
it's that dude
with
from
that.
the World of Warcraft episode of South Park.
Yeah, just like going through and just doing this all this other stuff. Like,
Putting Ben Gay on his wrist. Fight through the
oh
pain.
my god, Ben Gandler. But honestly, from what I've been playing so far, the new mode is interesting. The new 6 player mode. Quintessentially, last season you had to do this thing called Override, where it's like a 6 player mode that you have to go through and accomplish certain modes in order to do this and do that. This one is sort of different, where it's like we are inside of the Dreaming City, which is the main hub area that was initially part of the previous expansion Forsaken, and we're going through the Dreaming City. We're earning a bunch of different things and stuff. In this mode, in and of itself, you're facing off against like a various forms of the Taken and Hive, not Hive, like stuff, and it's actually fairly fun. in regards to what you got to do. I've only played through it maybe a couple different times, so I definitely want to go through and play some more of it from here on to February. But hopefully, hopefully I don't get burnt out with this season fairly quickly
Yeah.
because it's going to go through 5 months of this type of stuff. So if I'm getting to that point and stuff where I get to burn out early and stuff, then I'm just gonna say right then because that's exactly how I was with season 14. Because I could totally see myself going inside of this season, going through for like maybe a good solid month off and on while playing other games, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I want to fully focus on something else. But yes, Destiny 2 Season of the Lost so far has been interesting. I'll say that. But other than that, though, I've been just playing little odds and end games, like nothing like too concrete. It feels like I'm juggling 3 or 4 different games and stuff like that without focusing upon a one main one that I could just plow through. But that's it for me. What have you been playing, Tyler?
So a couple games I talked about a little bit last week 'cause I just started it, but I finished Boyfriend Dungeon. Um,
Okay.
I ended up really liking this game. So it is a roguelike, I guess more of a roguelite, I guess in that sense. Um, but it's a dating sim slash Hades style roguelite where you're going down. Like you're going,
Yeah.
so you go to like you this character, you go to this town. I think it's like Verona Beach, and you end up bumping into all of these different characters that like also turn into weapons, and you use those weapons to fight down like so the first area you're in a mall and you're fighting like down these levels, and the more you use these weapons, the more you like fill up your experience points, your bar with them. But your like bar can only go up so many points per level, and then when you hit the max for that level, in between the battling, you go on a
Yes.
date with them, and you can craft items which you can give to them that will give them more experience points for the next level. I think like the max level is like level 6 for each character, and after each level you go
Okay.
on a date with them. Uh, and it's there's it's all over the place on like it's I think there's like I didn't even meet all the characters because you find some of them that you date, you find them like down in the dungeons. You'll find a weapon and like you basically rescue them from this dungeon that they're in. And then you can like go on, you could text them and have you can like at any point you can like you can like, they if they're not vibing with you, they'll break it off with you. You can break it off with them. You can go. You could choose not to go on these dates if you want to or not. I was going on all the dates with all of them. There's like Sunder, he's the weird like vampire guy that owns a nightclub. There's Valerie, I think is how you say her name. She's the one I ended up going with. I mean, you could be there. There's a non-binary person in this game. There is multiple gay characters in this game. You can do whatever you want in this game, which is really cool and interesting. There's like the one guy that's like um, doesn't understand no means no, Eric. But like, it's a very cool like this game has got a lot of like cool vibes and like really like it's very up like very positive. Like the music in this game is actually like really cool as well. But it's like the whole time I'm playing this, it's like it's just so like bright and colorful. It's like I'm just having a good time. Like even like it's all like there's no cutscenes. It's just like you're looking at a still screen and like talking to this person back and forth. You can choose like your dialogue options and things you say can hurt or help you. And you can like I said you can give them items and they can reject it or they can love it and that will affect you as well. And like the higher up level you get, the more like the obviously the better the more damage you do as you go through it. The game it can be pretty short though, because like I said, I think I beat it in like 6 hours, but like you can every like I said every time you like finish a floor with a weapon, it raises up you get some experience points for doing that. You have experience points as well that you gain for each run. And the nice thing is like it's not like a full like I said it's a rogue light in the sense that like each dungeon so there's two dungeons and then there's like the final boss area. Each dungeon has 12 floors, but every 4 floors you go through, you can actually like and you die. So say I made it to floor 6, I die. Um, I can jump back in at either floor 1 or floor 5. And then the same thing with floor 9. And then you have to go, you can start from floor 9, but you still got to make it all the way through 9 and then get to beat the final boss at 12. So, I was able to beat it in like maybe a dozen runs. Like I said, there's only uh, 2 dungeons, and then I did a little bit of grinding as well too in there, because I wanted to get to like the max level with Valerie before I got to the final boss. Um, but I mean, there's way more. It's just all about like how much grinding you want to do, how much playing through it over and over again you want to do. To like I said, you can't get like max level with multiple characters. I got to like level so I played through like a run until I maxed out one character, and then I switched to the next. You can at every level you can switch between the weapons. Like I said, each partner is a weapon. Like literally, they transform into a weapon. So it's like Valerie, she was a dagger. There's another person that's like a long sword, that's like or like a basic sword. And then like the Sandra, who's like the vampire. He hits like his attacks are a little faster, or not a little faster, but like they do like a little bit of damage ongoingly. There's another guy like he's like from South Korea, and he's like in a really famous boy band. Um, and he has like he's more of like a heavy weapon, so like a heavy sword. So like his they do more damage with their slower attacks, kind of stuff. And it's very like simplistic gameplay. It's not like you have a heavy attack, a regular attack, and then you do like a dodge roll, and you can like heal, and like that's all you can do. But it's very simplistic, and each dungeon has like you're fighting a lot of the same enemies over and over again, but they're just kind of thrown at you in unique ways. But like for me, like I said, like the game doesn't like overstay its welcome. At least if you don't want it to. Like I said, I beat it like 6-7 hours, and that was just
Right.
me doing a little bit of grinding because I wanted to. I could have probably beat the game faster if I wanted to, but like I really focused. Mainly, my main goal was max level Valerie and beat the game. But I got to like level 3 or 4 with a few other characters, and like level 2, there's like one of the characters you can date is a cat. That's the thing. If that's what you're
Okay.
into, Gables. Um, Not saying you are, but if you are, that's an option. Um, so yeah, it's very interesting. I really like the game. I think like it sounds very corny. It sounds very cheesy. It's like you see like those dating sims out there, and it's like that's not really for me. It's like and they're not, but like I thought they were like makes you kind of reconsider maybe they are, but like I feel like like I couldn't do like a 3, 4, 5 hour game of just the dating part. Having the gameplay parts in between was like really broke it up because there'd be chunks of time where like, especially if you're like you hit max level with every like with multiple partners in between a run, and you got to do 3 or 4 dates. You can go 20, 30 minutes without actually playing the game part of the game.
Right.
And it's nice. Like okay, I'm ready to like go play the game now and like do some grinding and getting some levels up and all that stuff. And it's like you're always progressing, which is nice. And it's always fun. But yeah, I like this game. There's a lot of heart to it. It's on Game Pass. Yeah, like Game Pass has been the real MVP this year for sure. But yeah, this game was a fucking blast for me. For like someone that's not really in the roguelikes or in dating sims, they did a really good job of combining those two things together for me. Another game I played. I don't want to spend too much time on it. I just started it. I've only played like the first. I beat the first section, and then like I just started the next section. But Psychonauts 2 that just also came out to Game Pass as well. That's the big Double Fine game that's been development for years now. But yeah, it's finally out now. It's on Game Pass. Um, I am not a big platforming guy, so I'm gonna open that up right away. And I remember like Psychonauts back in the day. I just don't like the art style too much. I really don't. Uh, I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't like it. It's like that Nightmare Before Christmas style. I just never liked it ever. Even as a kid, didn't like it. And I think overall I'm playing through the game and I'm enjoying it so far, despite all these elements of things I don't like. I'm not like I said, I don't hate platformers. There's definitely platformers I do like, 3D platformers, but I'm enjoying it so far. But like I am not loving it, and like this is probably more of a me thing than anybody else. But like I think the characters are very charming. I like the with Raz and all the characters in between, like he talks to, and like they do a really good job of like at the beginning of like explaining like the story from one. And there's also that VR game that came out a couple years ago that is actually like ties into the whole story as well. Um, so they do a good job of like explaining what happens there. So like I wasn't completely lost at the beginning. But there's definitely is like some like okay, like I got some catching up here I got to do. But like even with all that, like I like the characters part. I just like I'm not like I said not the biggest platformer, which I can get through. Like I definitely enjoy them when they're really good. I just the big thing for me is like getting past the art style, which I do not love. But so far, I like it. But I can see why people are calling this one of the best games of the year, for sure. But for right now, so far, I like it. But that's all I've been playing. I want to give us I want to play it some more. Like I said, I'm probably like 2 hours into it, so not like I'm like I said, I basically beat the first like the training section, and then I did like you go back to like this school basically. I did like a bunch of like stuff in there, and then I just started the next section. So I will at least want to get through like another section or two before like I really like decide if I want to keep progressing or not. But that's all I've been playing, Gables. But I think I think that's actually gonna wrap it up for us this week. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like this, please go to all our social channels everywhere. Like, follow, subscribe for us. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter, Facebook, iTunes, Anchor, Spotify. We're on everything. Just look up Drunk-Nerds, Drunk Nerds Podcast, Drunk Nerds. You'll find us on there. Please, 5-star reviews, likes, thumbs ups, comments, shares. Shares probably the best thing you can do for us. The more you do that for us, the more it helps us out. The more people can get eyeballs on us. So yeah, we really appreciate it if you guys do that for us, and we also appreciate you guys for listening to this podcast. So until next time, I was your host, I was Tyler.
I've been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, have yourself a fun week. Play some fun video games. But most importantly of all, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
Hey Gables, too sweet.
Too sweet.
Bye guys.
See ya. Okie dokie.
Okay, my mouse took a shit on me here, so I cannot stop the recording.
F449.
All right, give me 1 second, Gables. I have to switch my mouse out. I can't stop our recordings.